A lot of people eventually notice something strange. They go to bed, they close their eyes, they may even sleep for several hours, but when they wake up, they do not feel truly restored. On the surface, everything looks correct. The body was lying down, the lights were off, the phone was put away, but inside, something never really stopped. The mind was still reviewing, worrying, planning, replaying, comparing, and holding pressure. This is why Taiyi Budong keeps emphasizing that rest is not only about sleep time. In the human battery system, the deeper question is whether your whole system actually entered recharge, or whether the background processes of the mind kept running through the night. Many people misunderstand the problem. They think their poor rechargeability is only because they slept too late, worked too hard, or had too many responsibilities. Of course, these things matter, but if you really observe carefully, you may find that the body can stop before the mind stops. The person is already in bed, but the heart is still in the day. One part is remembering an unfinished task. Another part is worrying about tomorrow. Another part is replaying a conversation from earlier. So even when the body appears still, the inner system is still consuming energy. The body sleeps, but the heart does not fully sleep. In the human battery model, this is where background processes become very important. A phone may look inactive, but if many apps are running in the background, the battery still drains. Human beings are similar. A person may look calm, quiet, and even relaxed from the outside, but internally there may be pressure, anxiety, responsibility, rumination, fear of mistakes, fear of disappointing others, or constant vigilance. These are not always loud. They may not feel dramatic, but they keep running. And because they keep running, they create a quiet form of energy impedance. The system wants to recharge, but the pathway is not smooth. What most people misunderstand is that mental energy consumption is often harder to detect than physical energy consumption. If you carry something heavy, you know you are tired. If you walk too far, your legs tell you. But the mind consumes energy in a quieter way. Every day, you read people's faces, judge situations, manage emotions, remember details, make decisions, suppress reactions, and maintain stability. None of this looks like heavy labor, but it all draws from the human battery. By the end of the day, the body may not have done much movement, yet the inner system may already be deeply drained. This is especially obvious in modern life because the senses are constantly open. The eyes keep receiving images, the ears keep receiving sound, the body keeps receiving stimulation from the environment. The intention keeps analyzing, comparing, choosing, worrying, and planning. From morning to night, the whole system is moving outward. Looking at a screen consumes energy. Responding to messages consumes energy. Listening to noise consumes energy. Even pretending to be fine when you are not fine consumes energy. So when night comes, the issue is not only whether you are tired. The issue is whether the outward movement can truly gather back inward. This is why some people feel their mind becomes active only after they lie down. During the day, everything is busy. There are roles to play, tasks to handle, people to respond to, and problems to manage. There is no space to feel what is happening inside. But once the room becomes quiet, the body lies down, and the outside stimulation decreases, the unfinished mental load begins to rise. It is not that night creates overthinking by itself. It is that the things pushed aside during the day finally find space to appear. At the exact time when the system should enter recharge, the mind begins another round of work. This does not mean thinking at night is always wrong. Sometimes quiet reflection is natural. A person may need a little time to review the day, understand what happened, or prepare for tomorrow. The problem begins when reflection turns into endless processing. One thought opens another thought. Today opens tomorrow. Tomorrow opens the future. A small concern becomes a whole chain of responsibility. At that point, the night is no longer a recharge window.
It becomes an extension of daytime operation. The body is in bed, but the system is still on duty. This is how a person can sleep and still wake up with a false full charge. False full charge means the person appears to have rested, but the deeper energy system has not really completed recharge. They can still get up, they can still function, they may even look normal, but the total
Energy index, or TEI, does not really rise in a stable way. The Yang Qi index, or YQI, may feel temporarily available in the morning, but it drops quickly once the day begins. This is not a diagnosis, it is a way of observing energy rhythm. When background processes continue through the night, the human battery may show a surface recovery, but the trend line of real endurance keeps declining. If you observe your own life, you may recognize this pattern. You sleep, but you wake up feeling as if you were still working somewhere inside. You rest on the weekend, but by Monday, you do not feel truly reset. You take a break, but your mind continues to carry the same pressure. This is where Tai Budong energy navigation looks at the body as an energy regulation system, not as a machine that only needs hours of sleep. A machine can be turned off by pressing a button. A human system needs transition. It needs to move from outward response into inward gathering. In traditional language, we can say that during the day, Shen moves outward through the eyes, ears, body, and intention to handle the world. At night, Shen needs to gather back inward. In practical language, this means your attention must gradually stop chasing the day. Your eyes stop seeking stimulation. Your ears stop reaching outward. Your intention stops solving tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. When Shen cannot gather, body and mind remain separated. The body is lying down, but the mind is still outside. And when body and mind cannot reunite, true recharge becomes very limited. This is where the life operating protocol becomes important. Your evening rhythm is not just a habit. It is the protocol that tells the human battery whether it is still in output mode or entering recharge mode. If you spend the final hour of the night scrolling, arguing, solving work problems, checking messages, or opening emotional conversations that cannot be completed, the system receives the signal that the day is still active. Then, even if you close your eyes, the inner operating state does not immediately change. The recharge window has arrived, but the system has not entered it. A simple way to observe this is to ask yourself, when I lie down, where is my heart still located? Is it still in a meeting from earlier today? Is it still in a conversation that bothered me? Is it already in tomorrow morning's pressure? Is it in someone else's expectation? Is it in a fear that has not happened yet? These questions are not for self-criticism. They are for self-awareness. The goal is not to force the mind to be blank. The goal is to notice which background processes are still consuming energy so the system can begin to withdraw. When energy impedance appears at night, it often shows up in small ways. Breathing stays shallow. The neck and shoulders remain tight. The chest feels blocked. The eyes feel tired, but the mind is awake. The body wants to sleep, but the inner system is still holding something. Again, this is not a medical explanation. It is an energy rhythm observation. In Tai Budong energy navigation, these signs suggest that the movement from daytime outward activity to nighttime inward recharge is not smooth. The system is half moving, half still, half asleep, half on duty. Over time, if this pattern continues, a person may experience a systemic tilt in daily life. The system gradually leans toward output more than restoration. TEI may become less stable. YQI may not hold through the day. EMAS, the broader energy management and adjustment structure, becomes harder to maintain because the night is not doing its work. TRI, the transition rhythm into rest, becomes weak. The person may still push forward, but the trend line tells the real story. Recovery becomes slower, patience becomes thinner, and small tasks start to feel heavier than before. So what should the night really do? The night should not simply extend the day. The night should help the heart leave the day. This is the core point. Before sleep, the first work is not forcing yourself to sleep quickly. The first work is gathering the heart back inward. Set down the unfinished things temporarily. Let tomorrow belong to tomorrow. Let the eyes stop searching. Let the ears stop chasing sound. Let the intention stop opening new problems. When the heart becomes quiet, Shen can gather. When Shen gathers, body and mind have a chance to reunite. In real life, this can be very simple. You may take a few minutes to sit quietly before bed, not to meditate perfectly, but to let the system know that the day is ending. You may write down tomorrow's tasks so the mind does not need to keep holding them. You may reduce stimulation during the final part of the evening. You may notice the shoulders, soften the breath, and allow the eyes to rest. None of this is about treating a condition. It is about helping the human battery recognize the recharge window and reduce unnecessary background processes before sleep. The most important thing is to stop judging rest only by the number of hours. Hours matter, but state matters too. If the state is still outward, still tense, still processing, still carrying pressure, then sleep may become shallow recharge. If the state can gradually turn inward, the same night may feel completely different. This is why Taiyi Budong keeps emphasizing the transition between movement and stillness. During the day, the system must be able to move. At night, it must be able to become still. If that transition is lost, the system never fully returns to itself. So the real question is not only did I sleep, the deeper question is, did my heart withdraw? If the body sleeps but the heart continues to secretly consume power, the human battery cannot truly replenish. But when the heart becomes quiet, when Shen gathers inward, when the background processes begin to settle, the night has a real chance to become true recharge. This is the purpose of understanding your own system. Not to fear sleep, not to control every thought, but to observe the pattern and gently adjust the life operating protocol. If this explanation helped you recognize your own energy rhythm, subscribe to this channel for more Taiyi Budong energy navigation. We will continue exploring the human battery, recharge, YQI, TEI, energy impedance, and the hidden patterns that shape daily endurance. Remember, this content is for non-medical education and self-awareness. It is not about diagnosis or treatment. It is about learning to observe the system, understand the pattern, and make lifestyle adjustments that support better balance. Real rest does not begin only when the body stops. It begins when the heart finally stops secretly consuming power.